It was 2:03 a.m. when I caught the faint sound of footsteps outside my door, soft, deliberate, too careful to be random. I stayed still listening. The door creaked open just an inch, letting a sliver of hallway light cut through the dark. Then came the slow, cautious scrape of a drawer being pulled open. My wallet wasn't hidden. She knew exactly where it was. Everyone did. Then silence. A pause, followed by the quiet rustle of plastic sliding against leather. That was her mistake. The moment she assumed I was asleep, I almost smiled. Back then, I would have sworn my sister Aisha would take a bullet for me. She was a golden one, magnetic, impulsive, with that grin that made everyone forgive her too easily. I was a quiet sibling, the thinker, the one she turned to when her recklessness finally caught fire. I'd rescued her before. Unpaid tickets, messy relationships, petty lies. But money? Never that. She'd always mock me for being too paranoid about finances. Who checks their statements every day? She'd tease. I'd shrug. I just like knowing where my money goes. Maybe that's why she believed I wouldn't notice when $15,000 vanished overnight. I found out at breakfast. She was on a spontaneous trip to Japan with our cousin Sanaa. First-class tickets, designer luggage, 5-star hotels. Every photo screamed my money. Dad noticed the charges when the bank called. His reaction wasn't disbelief, it was defense. She wouldn't steal from you, he said firmly. You must have shared the card. Don't create drama. Mom said nothing, just stared into her tea. That silence said more than words ever could. I didn't argue. Raising my voice only feeds them power. Silence, though, silence gives me room to think. So I called the bank, filed a fraud alert, opened a dispute claim. Routine process. But what she didn't know was that 2 weeks earlier, I'd replaced my old credit card. The one she took wasn't really mine anymore. It was a secondary card under my name, linked to a separate account I created for a fraud analysis course I was taking online. Every swipe she made, flights, gifts, hotels, was logged, monitored, and entirely reversible. And every receipt bore her name. All I had to do was wait. A week later, she came home, sun-kissed, glowing, blissfully guiltless. She waltzed in like nothing had happened, hugging Dad, laughing with Mom. Her eyes met mine once, a brief flicker of unease, quickly buried under a practiced smile. That night, Dad cornered me in the kitchen. Stop acting like she'd ever do that to you, he said. She loves you. Don't let money tear the family apart. I nodded. You're right. He exhaled, relieved. Good. I knew you'd see reason. I smiled just enough to convince him, because I had seen reason. 2 days later, the calls began. Customs, airline billing, fraud investigators, each asking for Aisha. Apparently, the charges under her name, the hotels, the jewelry, the luxury purchases, were flagged for financial misconduct. Her car was now linked to an account under federal watch for suspicious transactions. She came to me in tears, waving letters, trembling. They're saying I committed fraud, that I used a flag card. What am I supposed to do? I looked at her the way I used to, calm, steady, protective. Don't worry, I said softly. We'll fix this. Just tell them the truth, that you used my car without permission. Her face went pale. I can't say that. Dad will find out. I finished the sentence for her. She nodded weakly, shaking. I leaned closer, voice low. Then you'll have to explain why a federal investigator thinks you're part of a laundering network. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out, only the sound of her world cracking. I never had to yell, never had to lift a hand. The system I trusted did all the work for me. Weeks passed, endless calls, meetings, written statements. Eventually, she confessed quietly to the bank, to the police, and finally to our father. The look on his face wasn't anger. It was disbelief. His perfect daughter wasn't untouchable after all. When she came to me again, there were no tears left to shed. She just stood in my doorway, red-eyed. Was this your plan? She whispered. I looked up from my laptop. No, I said gently. This was yours. You took the car, remember? Her breath hitched. You destroyed me. I tilted my head slightly. No, Aisha. You did that yourself. When you decided what you wanted mattered more than trust. She left without another word. Sometimes I still hear Dad trying to defend her. She made a mistake, he says. You shouldn't have gone that far. But the truth is simple. I never went far at all.